nothing better than a chocolate cake on a Christmas. And it's a Christmas Eve already there. And it's like 6:30 a.m. And guess what? It's snowing outside. And it's so rare that it snows during Christmas, as in on Christmas. So everybody might be going absolutely crazy. White Christmas is very rare. I'm not somebody who invents recipes. Okay. I just learned it from, of course, initially from my mom, but then I learned it majorly from YouTube, right? That's where everyone goes. So I have my favorite YouTube creators and chefs whom I follow big time. Yeah, let's get started, guys. So I'll move. Yeah, that's where I've set up. So you can see two screens, right? So what I've done is I've kept everything ready, as you can see. What we'll do first is we'll just run through the ingredients list, okay? Just check it if you have it on your table and it's all available. It's 1.5 cups of maida or all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, half cup plus 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, half tablespoon of baking soda, half plus 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, half teaspoon salt, 2 large eggs, 3/4 cup dahi, and 1/4 cup milk. So we'll mix it together, your dahi, yogurt, and milk. And then we have half plus 1/4 cup of hot water. We need 1 teaspoon of coffee, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay. Now, for the tools, guys, it's very important that you have these, measuring spoons. They're like great, and generally all the recipes that you would see or you would want to make needs that you have perfect measurement, okay, accurate measurement of your ingredients, because that's a game changer. So I am going to first of all show you how to measure your maida, okay, because this is very important. And not everyone has a digital scale available, right? And it's not only like, I just take this 1 cup and just dig it and put it in my bowl. No, because this also has to have, because we don't have a digital scale, right? So this has to be filled in accurately. So how do we do that? Okay, I'll show you. Okay, great. Okay, let's start. So I'm going to take this spoon, okay, and I have to take 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour or maida. So what I'll do is I'll fluff it up. Okay, this is very important. Just fluff it up a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to put in here. This is 1 cup. The spoon is 1 cup. So this is how you put it. Okay, just fluff it. Don't pack it densely, because then your measurements would change. Just do it like this, just lightly. Okay, now the next step is use a butter knife or anything to level your, this particular spoon and this maida. So how do I do it? I just kind of push it on all the sides and just level it like this. This is the perfect quantity that I need. That is like 1 cup. So I'm adding it. Okay, to ensure that you are putting this channi or a strainer on your bowl, because a lot of times your maida, your baking powder would be in crystals. We don't want any crystals at all. So we need 1.5 cup. I took 1 cup. Move to my next half cup. Okay. So there we go. I've leveled it. Okay. So this was something that was key. I wanted to show it to you. That's why I've not measured it. A lot of my other ingredients are already measured and ready. So I'm done with maida. Okay. Okay, what do we have next in our list? That's granulated sugar. So I have it ready. That's 1.5 cup with sugar. Okay, wait, just a second. I hope you have not put in sugar in here. Okay. Have you put the sugar in your chutney? If you have added it, then it's okay. Don't panic. I would not do that at this moment. Okay. Okay. We will keep the sugar for a later part, because when you put it in and try to sift your sugar, it won't sift, right, in your strainer. Okay, so we go to unsweetened cocoa powder. That's half cup and 1/4 cup cocoa powder. So I need this half plus 1/4. And to ensure that my cocoa powder does not get kind of contaminated with other ingredients, I'm just using a fresh spoon. So I'm done with cocoa. And if you add a lot of cocoa, it will become bitter. So of course, there has to be a certain quantity to everything, right? Because we know there's a reason to why we are adding that much of quantity. And now next we move to baking soda. So I'll take my baking soda, and that is half tablespoon. Don't get confused with your tablespoons and teaspoons. Ensure that's fine. Okay, so I'll take half tablespoon. So I have a half tablespoon with me. Again, I'll use my knife to level off everything. Okay, that's half tablespoon of baking soda. There it goes. Now we need half teaspoon. Okay, teaspoon of half plus 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So I'll take my half teaspoon. Here's my baking powder, half teaspoon, and 1/4. Okay. Okay, so and the last ingredient is salt. So we'll just quickly add salt. I have already measured it in advance. It's actually half teaspoon of salt. Okay. So why do we add salt? Just to balance the sugar, and it gives that, a bit of balance and a punch. A lot of times, a lot of recipes call for sea salt. You might have seen those crystals, right? And it gives a nice taste to and a crunch to your dessert. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to sift it through. Okay, this is very important. A lot of times, recipes would say that you don't need to do this, it's okay. But then I have figured out over the period of time that it's always better if you sift it all. Okay, so I'm just sifting. If you have a big sift and your bowl is bigger than mine, then please go ahead and just shake it off. I'm going to do it like this because the strainer that I have is not that big, and the bowl that I have is not that big too, because I'm a home baker. So I don't believe in, I have not so much, not like I don't believe, I would love to have amazing, those professional baking gadgets. That'll be so much fun. But then this is fine, right? The end result is the chocolate cake, and that has to turn out great. We don't need to care what equipments we are using. Measurements, yes, of course, has to be perfect. I'm reiterating that because that is just so critical. See, I can see some lumps here in my baking soda and baking powder. Even in the cocoa. Okay, so I have got this beautiful looking dry ingredient. So generally you have dry ingredients and wet ingredients, okay? So we first add all the dry ingredients, and then we will add the wet ingredients to it. Ensure that your oven is heated well, okay? That would be a big mistake if we don't do that. And also, once everything is ready, any dessert that you make, once everything is ready, you have to quickly put it in the oven, unless you are making macarons. Macarons need 1 hour to be kept outside. That's a different thing. Every dessert has its own requirements. Okay, let's move on to our wet ingredients. Okay, take dahi and milk. The recipe actually had called for buttermilk, but again, buttermilk is like something that's not very easily available here. So I usually use dahi and milk, and that combination works fine as well. Okay, so just incorporate this in a bowl and then just whisk it to a smooth consistency, okay? We use the same whisk, no problem. Whisk it to a smooth consistency, that's important because even curd has lumps in it at times, right?
How much
So
dahi was that?
okay, so your curd was 3/4 cup and 1/4 cup of milk. So I have whisked it well. Okay. Now I'm going to put it in the other bowl, okay? The big bowl. Okay. Now we are going to add instant coffee to water. Now we are adding coffee. It's a very nice tip, guys. If you are making anything chocolatey, just add a bit of coffee to it. It just brings out the chocolate flavor very well. And I'm just using a basic instant coffee. You get espresso powders, you get all that fancy stuff. You can always try using that. So this is 1 teaspoon of coffee, and we need half plus 1/4 cup of water. Okay, this is half plus 1/4 cup of water. We have to heat it. Okay, now wait, don't boil your water because if you boil it, your eggs will scramble. Remember, we are going to add eggs to our wet ingredients. Make it hot, don't boil it. So you know it's hot when it's kind of, you just see a bit of steam. If you don't have a microwave, heat some water on your gas stove, and you would know it's hot because you can see a bit of steam and a bit of vapor coming out. Okay, so I had put my water. Okay, this is good enough. Yeah. Now we are going to move a bit quickly from here. Okay, I'm just adding 1 teaspoon of coffee. What I've done is added that hot water to my dahi mix. What else do we need? Okay, now next we need 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Okay, so I have it ready here. It's 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. I'm going to add this. So, and then vanilla. Yeah, that's like 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. Now quickly we are going to break the eggs. Now I'm going to break the eggs in a different bowl. I'll tell you why, because I have noticed that, when I'll use a fork, okay, I'll just get a fork to kind of whisk it a bit. So I have noticed that when I have added eggs in my mix, it just kind of did not get cooperated well. And then I had like those moments where it became a bit eggy in certain cases where I did not mix well and it was like bad. So I have had my disaster moments too. Don't stress out if you have broken your eggs in that only because in the bowl, because you can always do that. I prefer it doing it this way. Then I know that I won't have those eggy pockets anywhere. Yeah, this is good. I'm just going to add this. Okay, so my wet ingredients are ready, my dry ingredients are ready. We are just going to combine it. It's just so easy. It's just taking a bit of time today because we are kind of doing it for the first time. So I'm going to just put a bit of my dry ingredients. And if you have a hand blender and if you can invest in it, that's great because it just makes things easy and faster. Ensure that your dry ingredients are mixed well, okay? And with a chocolate cake, be very careful, okay, that you don't overmix. Overmixing will lead to cake batter being dense. So you have to fold it. I'm just using a whisk just because, right after this, we have to move a bit quick and butter our cake pan and dust it. When I pour it, there are a bit of ribbons on it, and they stay a while. Can you see this? It's a bit thick. I am done with mixing my batter. This looks good. So I'm just going to move this around, okay? Move it around well and butter it. There shouldn't be any corner. And I'm using something called as a spring foam pan, okay? So this is like this. It's called a spring foam pan. It comes off. And I like to use this for my cakes because then I can just pull out the cover and that's about it. But that's okay, whatever pan you have. Even if you have a cupcake pan, pan to make cupcakes, you can just make a cupcake out of this batter. So it's absolutely okay. Okay, so I'm kind of buttering it well. Butter it nicely because we don't want this thing to stick. Okay, we don't want our cake to stick when we are trying to take out the cake. It should come off easily, right? What is that? What is this? Okay, I'm going to just add my cocoa powder. A lot of times people use maida as well, but I prefer cocoa powder because maida looks a bit white. And it's always good to have a chocolate coating outside, right? See how I'm doing. You just have to dust it, okay? Dust it around. Aditi, can you guys hear me? Is my connection working fine still?
Yeah. Shazia is asking how many kilo cake is this?
How many kilo? It's a 6-inch pan. Maybe half kg, between half and 1 kg. I've never measured it. It should be around that much. Okay, look at my cake pan. It looks so beautiful, all covered, well covered. See, all the edges are pretty neatly covered. And this is called as dusting your cake pan.
Right.
Just dust it and remove all the extra cocoa. Okay, and then we are going to pour our batter in it. Is your oven ready, guys? Has it preheated? I'm just pouring it now, okay? I hope you can see it. Just pouring the entire batter.
How high do you have to fill it? Can you fill the entire tin? Or
mine works like that because mine is a 6-inch cake pan and its height is almost 6 as well. Or 6, 5.5 probably. And you have to fill it 3/4, okay? So whatever cake pan you have, fill 3/4 of it because remember guys, it has baking soda and baking powder in it and it's going to rise. So you don't want to fill the entire cake pan. If you think the batter is more and your cake pan is smaller, you can bake once you are done with baking the first batch, you can bake it again, or if you have another cake pot, you can just butter it and dust it. And you put two of those containers in your oven. If not, then it's okay. You can just bake the first cake, let it cool, take it out, and then bake the second one. But and then you can see the difference because there would definitely be a bit of difference, okay? And I hope you have incorporated it well, okay, all your liquid ingredients and everything. Because that's important. You don't want flavors in pockets. You want everything well mixed, well combined. So guys, we are done. At least the cake batter is ready. If you have a 9-inch, it would be different. But what I strongly suggest is that you would learn it while making it. Okay, so know that this is the first time for you guys. It won't be a disaster, but it might not just turn out to be one of the best cakes you have ever baked, okay? Because a lot depends. So put the timer, at least I'm going to put the timer as 45 minutes. I'm putting my cake pan in the oven. Put it in the middle rack, both the rods to be on, okay? Your top and bottom rod. I'm going to put the timer at 45 minutes. So let's say, you are putting it for 30 minutes. You're putting the cake in for 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, guys, this is critical now that you have put everything in the oven. After 30 minutes, just take out the cake, check the center. Okay, center of it. Aditi, are you eating that batter?
I'm eating it, yes. I'm eating it.
How did it taste? Aditi, that's so cute. I think I didn't pour my entire batter. Yeah, थोड़ा सा रह गया. ठीक है. That's okay. Okay. Now, before I forget, these are important things to remember when you are baking. When you have put the cake in the oven, after 30 minutes or whatever time, because you don't know how much time it'll take, but roughly depending on the cake pan, it takes minimum of 30 minutes, okay? And when you look into it, it'll start rising. So you can see that it is rising, it's cooking well. After a certain point of time, you would also start seeing cracks on the top, right? It like zigzag. That means, it's cooking fine. But you have to take it out after, let's say, that even today when I'm baking, I need to take it out and test it. So you have to put a knife or probably anything sharp. So whenever you are making a cake, you have to put it at the center, right? Because center takes it cooks like from outside to inside. So the center bakes at the end. So you have to put it in the center and it should come out clean. So when I put my cake, whatever tester in it at the center, nothing should stick to it. I just hope the cake turns out well. And guys, please do take a picture of your cake, okay? And just tag Aditi, as in Curo Sapiens and Miss My Macaroons, and just put it on your Insta so that everyone knows what we guys did today.